The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
And so I do think there is a case to be made for the Fed to gradually take away some of this extraordinarily accommodative policy which has been in place for years and years and years, given the global economy is improving, given the fact that the private sector is pretty healthy right now.
Wow. Welcome. That's you kidding me? What a contradiction. He's saying the economy is pretty healthy because of the banks, the central banks, continuing to inject liquidity, which is printed money. Well, if you take the liquidity away, the printing of that money, and don't inject it, guess what? The market's going to crash. Welcome to Phil's Gang, coast to coast around the country, off the Wall Street Radio Network. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I did. Spent, 4 days, was it? Yeah, I think 4 days with my wife Marta, which was great because we never get much time together because we're always working. I had a great weekend. I just stayed at home and did nothing, and she cooked, and we had a good time, and it was the best 4th of July I ever had. It was really good. So I hope you enjoyed yours too. The only thing that made me grumpy, yes, I do get grumpy, is these shows. These stupid financial shows on the weekend. And Meet the Press and the others. But let's go to these financial shows. They are so full of it. They just sit there and bold-faced lie, or they're just stupid, and they're just conning us, trying to con us. It's unbelievable. You heard what this person just said. Everything's improving. Listen to this about the Fed minutes.
Minutes from the mid-Fed June meeting show, quote, surprisingly low recent inflation readings. Most participants expect that reading to remain below 2% target near term, get closer to the target as labor markets tighten, even including higher wages. It's transitory.
Have you ever seen anything that Aunt B has not called transitory? Everything's transitory.
We do think that these factors are transitory.
The committee believes that the recent softness partly reflects transitory factors.
We think that it's partly transitory influences from transitory factors, from transitory factors, from transitory factors.
Everything's transitory. That's unbelievable. Such a lie. You know, it's interesting that they announced the stress test of these banks last week. And I told you they were fake because they left out important information. They left out of the test the derivative liabilities. If they ever put the derivative liabilities into the test, it included them, it would show the largest banks are insolvent. And no one's talked about that. I kept looking. I didn't see it in the news. Nobody did. They're all saying, wow, these banks are terrific. Wow, these banks are really doing great, and their profits are going to increase because they're doing fantastic, and because the 10-year yield, interest is going, the yield's going up, so that means interest rates are going up, so they're going to make more profits. How wonderful. It's not true. None of it's true. And they're not going to make more profits. And so, yeah, over the weekend, finally, the New York Times, I couldn't believe it, pointed out that not only is Wall Street a threat to the nation because of how they rigged the numbers, but they pointed out that the system is more fragile, the banking system more fragile than the Fed's stress test indicates. And they called for heightened vigilance of derivatives in particular. Now, a derivative is just simply think of it as an insurance policy. So these geniuses got together, Larry Summers, when they were trying to package all the subprime mortgages and sell them to investors and they got Warren Buffett to put AAA rating on all of them, which very few were AAA rating. He didn't care because his company was making a fortune, but he needed something else. He needed an insurance policy. He needed to sell it to a pension fund and say, look, here it's a AAA rated, but more than that, if the people do not pay you, when I sell you the tranche or the pile of garbage here, the subprime mortgages, if the people don't pay their mortgages, not to worry, contact us and we'll send you we're going to send you your money. This is an insurance policy. We'll call it a derivative. And that's as simple as a derivative is. The derivatives, the insurance policy, they sell trillions and when these mortgages went down, the subprime mortgages, all of a sudden Summer gets a call, and something like $250 trillion he had to come up with. Well, guess what? They got away with it because the Commodities Future Trading Commission, who regulates insurance companies, they weren't able to insure these derivatives. They weren't able to do it. They wanted to do it, and the head of the committee, the chairman of the Commodities Future Trading Commission, Brooksley Born, was fired because she went to the committees and said, "This is crazy. To sell insurance, you got to be able to back it up with something. These guys are selling insurance; they can't back it up. Car insurance, if you get a crash, you want to know, you go in, you get your check because they have money. And they're regulated to make sure the money's there for you. So if you do have an auto accident, you get paid. Well, Larry Summers and Rubin and Geithner, who all came up with this idea, and Greenspasm, they said, well, we don't want to. This is a scam. We don't really want to pay people money if this thing goes down. So they fired her, and they put her under a gag rule for something like 5-6 years. She couldn't speak about it. But the point I'm making is that it's just like they left out of the stress test. It's a joke. But here's what was really interesting is, if you remember last week, the ECB, which is the European Central Bank, it's a sister bank of like our Federal Reserve, announced a continuing of their QE, their quantitative easing, okay, which rallied the market because what they said was, we're going to cut back from purchasing $80 billion a month in treasuries to $60 billion a month. Then at the same time, we have Aunt B saying that she's going to sell a portion of the $4 trillion in treasuries she bought. She's going to start selling that. That's on top of the interest rates, which is real bad because if you start selling off a portion of the $4.4 trillion in treasuries that she purchased, when you sell those, that means the yields or the interest rates are going to continue to go even higher. So you're going to get a double whammy. And then the third was, of course, Trump saying that he's going to, everybody's still trading into the promise that he's going to get the health care bill done, the big tax bill done, and infrastructure. Those three things, if you combine those three things, has created such an excitement that nobody's looking at the terrible economic fundamentals. Nobody cares. No one cares because of this excitement. So remember, this QE program that they've been talking about for 8 years, in which the central bank buys assets, treasuries, from their member banks, increases their member banks' cash so they can go make more loans. So when their banks are short of cash and they can't make loans, they go and buy from their banks that they control their treasuries, and they give them cash. And that cash, the story they told us, the cash is supposed to go out to make loans. Well, that was a big lie. They never made loans. What they did is they kept the cash, and then they took that cash. Instead of making loans, they injected it into the stock market, so you get this 256% rally in the market. And if you take on a chart and you see the cash going in from these treasury purchases, it correlates perfectly. More when we get back on Phil's Gang. Join my gang.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. philsgang.com. What are people saying?
I've been in the financial business myself about 24 years. Very much enjoy the software program for the charts.
I love the new MV charts on Phil's software, and I'm making profits using them.
Complete guidance and professional education for investors who want to succeed in the stock market.
I love your new MV1, making lots of profits.
I love the chart. You know, I'm limited with time. Real good as far as just looking at whatever ticker tells me right away.
I've always enjoyed Phil's straightforwardness and talk about what's really going on.
The new MV1 and MV2 charting software. I particularly like the pre- and post-market candlesticks.
You guys have always been great on the service side. I can't say enough about the service side.
Don't wait. Sign up for Phil's Gang today. Give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Even the experienced traders and investors need to keep learning to stay ahead. philsgang.com provides educational information about Phil's Gang products and services in many different ways. Daily live webinars hosted by Phil Grandy and technical charting experts help you understand and keep up with today's lively markets. Short videos, investing programs, and up-to-the-minute market alerts help you get up to speed with the market using Phil's Gang MaxVest 1000 stock charting software. We teach you an investing foundation that you seek to take the first steps towards achieving your personal financial goals. Visit philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Again, that's philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Are you ready to get serious about your financial future? You know, reduce your debt, pay off those student loans, and prepare for retirement. Taking control of your finances can be intimidating, but with philsgang.com, you'll be educated and guided to make smart investment decisions in the stock market. If the market is up or down, philsgang.com is the only source where you'll learn how to trade stocks and how to invest in the stock market using professional-level skills and strategies. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Celebrating 18 years as the leader in investing and trading education.
Following your system has been fantastic.
Yeah, I really appreciate the work you do. You're really an inspiration.
I have learned so much.
You're really one of the best I've ever heard.
I've been with you for about a month and a half now, and I'm already up 7%.
Financial education is, in many respects, the most important education you can get, and that's what they're getting from your show.
You guys have always been great on the service side.
I have so much more confidence in when I'm in my trading.
Phil, keep up the good work.
I've been in this business for 45 years, and you are the best.
And I've been following you, I guess, about 9 months right now, and you've just done a great job.
Join the gang, and you'll never regret it.
If you're serious about securing your financial future, then contact philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264.
Hi, Phil Grandy here. I want to reach out and thank all the listeners in the Boston area for listening to Phil's Gang Show on AM 1260, The Buzz.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. When St. Jude finds something that works well with a certain cancer, they share that with everybody. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge. We just have to worry about helping Chandler, and he's just my heart.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. We're offering the most powerful stock charts available on the market, the MaxVest 1000 charts. Now, the difference between these charts and all the other charts is this follows the money. Yes, it gives you a buy-sell signal. I know you're going to say, well, they all do. No, not true. The difference with the MaxVest is they follow the important money, the hedge funds, the biggest banks, the 401ks, the pension fund managers. That's the big difference. They're not following the emotion. That's what most charts do. They follow the money. That's what MaxVest does, follows the money. Check it out. Join my gang, philsgang.com. Oh, and the chart as low as $19.95 a month. For more information, just go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-GANG. We will see you on the charts.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Join the gang. Just go to philsgang.com or 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-GANG. Just take a look at, we'll take a look at your stock and we'll help you. In other words, when you join the gang, every morning you come into our class. It's a live class. It starts at 9:30. It's also archived. And then you just give to us, email a question you have on your stock, and we'll pop up the chart, put it on there, and help you. That's why we're here, and we'll help you. And then what we do is take our stocks that we're involved with, and every morning put them up and show you what we're doing. And by the way, the 5 stocks that I trade every day and invest in every day for a year, the same stocks for a whole year, I leave the same stocks every day. Once you remember, after I finish the radio show, I do a video on those same 5 stocks so you can do exactly what I'm doing. So if you're busy, it's such a good thing, because if you're busy, you just take a few minutes at night and you see what I did and you copycat what I did. And that is so easy. Also, exchange-traded funds. And more people are buying exchange-traded funds than ever, because exchange-traded funds are a bucket, a group of stocks. And they are much better, okay, if you don't have the time to sit and learn about individual stocks. If you're going to invest in individual stocks, you need to get some schooling. You really do. If anyone tells you to don't, you're just going to listen to these people on these financial shows and whatever recommendation, you're going to lose. You're going to lose, okay? So the best thing is exchange-traded funds, because it's a basket of stocks. And they trade like an individual stock, and they're wonderful. So I do different groups. I just finished doing gas, which we did terrific on. Now we're looking for another one. So you join the gang at the end of the night. Same thing. I do a video on whatever exchange traded fund I'm on. And so you can just copy and do what I do. Okay, it makes it so easy for you. Okay, let's move on. All right. So I just want to get across that they're now telling us that the banks are strong, and they're telling us that now, because of all the enthusiasm that's going on, that the banks are going to make more profits now because the yields are going up. Meaning, yields on bonds, the interest rates increase when there's enthusiasm. So when they finished the stress test, the yields went up. That's enthusiasm. So people start buying stocks, okay? And they'll start buying these bank stocks. That's why we had a transition, a rotation, you remember, on June 9th, where all the big institutions took their money out of big tech, the FANG stocks, like Amazon and Facebook and Google. They took their money out and they shifted the money to the bank stocks. Shifted money, and they took money out of oil, out of gold, and shifted to the bank stocks. And some of the money did go to oil, by the way. But let's talk mostly about the rotation to the bank stocks out of the big tech and out of the semiconductors. That's going on now, and it's all about the excitement that what's going on with Trump. They still have this trade in the hope that the market's going to continue to go higher because of the great things he's going to do. Okay, but isn't it interesting? All the enthusiasm, every measurement of enthusiasm since he's been president has gone through the roof, but yet the meter has not moved, not an eighth of an inch on performance. In other words, the economy has not moved. The growth in the economy has not moved. Enthusiasm there, but it doesn't relate to growth, because that means the economy is not doing good. So this QE program that the UK has been doing, that has caused enthusiasm, because now they're saying, they're cutting back on the amount of of treasuries they're buying. See, when you buy treasuries, whatever central bank buys treasury, like when we buy treasuries here, and we're buying $80 billion a month in treasuries, remember in 2008, what that does is forces everybody out of the big institutions, out of bonds, and they have to buy stocks. So stocks just keep going up and up without any kind of profits, because all they're doing is just forcing people out of the bond market, and they push them into the stock market. Because when you buy the treasuries, the yields, most of the time the yields will start dropping. They'll start going down, and it forces them into the stock market. Well, what's going on now is all this enthusiasm. Again, the yields are going up, which also translates into when yields go up that the economy is doing well. So people are all sold on this account. They don't care anything about the fundamentals, how bad fundamentals are. Nobody cares. And it's the fundamentals you need to look at. What makes stocks in the stock market go up are economic fundamentals, real fundamentals, real earnings, real growth. But nobody cares anymore. Who cares? Because they know that the central banks all over the world are ready to print money and put it into the stock market to push it up. So why bother to have any concerns over economic fundamentals? And the day is going to come where, for example, if she's raising rates now, Aunt B is raising rates, the Federal Reserve, and we've been getting these rate hikes. We have 3 so far. But she's now saying she's going to sell part of the $4.4 trillion. That, too, will raise rates. So we got a double whammy of rates going up. Wait a minute. That means the people, the consumer, their car payment's going to go up, their house payment's going to go up, everything's going to go up, anything they're making a payment on. But wait a minute, their wages haven't gone up. But nobody cares. Because they know if the market's going to drop, the Federal Reserve will be right there to plow money, to print it and inject it into the stock market, push it even higher. Who cares that Trump won the presidential election? And even though the optimism has been fantastic, it hasn't moved the meter. And who cares? Nobody cares. The gasoline prices are falling fast, indicating the economy's slowing. And who cares that the lower oil prices also indicate the economy is getting worse? But nobody cares. Who cares that the auto sales are tumbling? GM just reported a record dealer auto inventory, the highest since 2007. Nobody cares. Today we had ASIO, AutoZone, and others who just collapsed. Nobody cares. We'll talk about that when we get back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Even the experienced traders and investors need to keep learning to stay ahead. philsgang.com provides educational information about Phil's Gang products and services in many different ways. Daily live webinars hosted by Phil Grandy and technical charting experts help you understand and keep up with today's lively markets. Short videos, investing programs, and up-to-the-minute market alerts help you get up to speed with the market using Phil's Gang MaxVest 1000 stock charting software. We teach you an investing foundation that you seek to take the first steps towards achieving your personal financial goals. Visit philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Again, that's philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Performing technical analysis is no easy task for any investor unless conducted with a professional stock charting service. At Phil's Gang, we offer a choice of high-power, color-coded stock charts, all seamlessly integrated, so you can tackle the market the way you want to. The Phil's Gang MaxVest 1000 stock charts. From Phil's Gang are high-performance HTML5 web-based charts that work on any browser and device, so you can put live streaming data and fully interactive charts in the palm of your hand. Phil Grandy designed the MV software to have the best features, and so far the early reviews have been great. You can plot charts on an intraday basis as well as on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. There is also a built-in watch list that you can customize to your liking. For more information, go to philsgang.com, philsgang.com, or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264, 877-600-4264. Are you ready to get serious about your financial future? Reduce your debt, pay off those student loans, and prepare for retirement. Taking control of your finances can be intimidating, but with philsgang.com, you will be educated and guided to make smart investment decisions in the stock market. If the market is up or down, philsgang.com is the only source where you'll learn how to trade stocks and how to invest in the stock market using professional-level skills and strategies. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of Phil's Gang. I got a great opportunity for those people who are disgusted with the market, who don't have time to learn. What you do is follow me in the exchange-traded fund that I'm invested in. Every day you go to my site and you can see exactly what I am doing with my investment, and you can mimic me. Nobody else dares do that. Join the gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com. What are people saying?
I've been in the financial business myself about 24 years. Very much enjoy the software program for the charts.
I love the new MV charts on Phil's software, and I'm making profits using them.
Complete guidance and professional education for investors who want to succeed in the stock market.
I love your new MV1, making lots of profits.
I love the chart. I'm limited with time. Real good as far as just looking at whatever ticker tells me right away.
I've always enjoyed Phil's straightforwardness and talk about what's really going on.
The new MV1 and MV2 charting software, I particularly like the pre- and post-market candlesticks.
You guys have always been great on the service side. I can't say enough about the service side.
Don't wait. Sign up for Phil's Gang today. Give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back. You're not a regular listener to Phil's Gang? What, are you nuts? Listen to Phil Grandy and check out philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
Late 2018 is going to start some ugliness that's going to last in 2019, and it's going to remind everybody of 2008. But we're not there yet. Don't worry about that yet.
Don't worry about that yet. Well, how do you know? If you're buying a stock and he's telling you not to worry, go buy now because the crash is not going to come to 2000. He can guarantee that. It's not going to come to 2018. How can he guarantee that? I can't guarantee what I'm going to have for supper tonight. And this guy can guarantee what the stock market's going to do or when it's going to crash. Are you nuts? That's why I design charts so that we don't have to worry about it. When we have a nice profit, we don't have to worry about getting out. I'll give you an example. This is interesting. Because of all this enthusiasm that's out there because of what the plans Trump has, and that she is now back. This is the other thing, which is such a lie. The narrative is, okay, Aunt B's going to start selling of the 4.4 trillion, some of those treasuries. And her counterpart, the ECB, is cutting back from 80 billion to 60 billion. Draghi. Now, that's supposed to mean that the end of the injection of liquidity to drive the stock markets up that have been going on since 2008, instead of that replaced good, sound economics. Okay, it replaced real economic growth. Remember, since 2008, if you missed the stock market rally at 256%, they just printed money and would keep injecting it. That pushed the market up. It used to be that stocks would go up because we'd have a real economic growth that pushed stocks up. Real economic growth comes from savings, capital investment. That's what it comes from. Instead, the Fed policy was to have none of that. Nobody cared about that. Their policy was the opposite, to shift money away from Main Street to Wall Street. And to keep printing money and every time the market pulled back a little bit, keep throwing money at it. But now the narrative is, we're going to pull back on that injection. That is a big lie. That's like saying you got a heroin addict here and he's going to stop right there cold turkey. No. Because the problem is the rich of the richest, the rich people, they control the Federal Reserve. They control the central bank. They control our Congress. And they're the ones who benefit. They benefit. When they own Congress, they also own, remember, the most powerful committees. The two banking committees, the Senate and the House banking committees. They own them. All the policies they put, because they have so much wealth, they buy the congressmen and only the policies they want to put in place to make the banks bigger and stronger and to make them benefit, because remember, 80% of their money, their wealth, comes from the stock market. So everything is done to protect the banks and to make the stock market go up, even if the economy is terrible. You think the rich of the rich is going to stop that? You think they found God and they're just going to stop that? These are, when you think of who are the worst people in the world, the most dangerous people in the world, if I asked you that, you would say ISIS. No, you're wrong. It's the rich of the rich. That's who is evil, and they own us because they own Congress and they own all the legislation that goes through, and it's only to benefit them. Now, the one thing we do know is that we are going to have a big correction, because Aunt B is going to choke off what little recovery that President Trump gets through his programs, if he gets them through, which I don't think he's going to get through. I think they're going to sabotage him. And I know why and I know it is being sabotaged, because nobody in their right mind, nobody ahead of the central bank, the Federal Reserve, would ever at the same time raise rates, turn around and start selling some of the $4.4 trillion in treasuries they purchased, because rates even go up higher. So you get a double whammy of rate hikes. That will choke off any recovery. That, I think they're doing on purpose to destroy his presidency. But I'm here to make money. My gang is here to make money. And so we want to invest in stocks. If they keep on pumping money into the stock market and they don't care about fundamentals, which is destroying the country, which is really, they don't care about retail sales or household spending or disposable income, all tumbling. They don't care that the economy for 8 years is still adding 12 times the amount of bartenders and waitresses as they are high-paying jobs. They don't care that the three sectors that provide the majority of our high-paying jobs, manufacturing, construction, and mining, are a disaster, as the unemployment in these three sectors alone is 22.4%. They don't care, as long as they got the printing machine and they keep injecting money into the stock market to push those stocks up. It's called QE. They don't care that the poverty rates increased 111% in the last 8 years, and disability checks doubled from 7 million to 14 million. And then they tell us banks are going to have a big increase in profits, and everybody jumped out of the FANG stocks and jumped into the bank stocks. Now, we got in first, way before anybody else, because our color-coded chart told us the money was moving in. And I'll go over those in a minute. But it just gets me that for them to be out there now saying, boy, the banks are going to have big profits now. No, they're not. How are they going to have big profits when you got interest rates going up on one side, her regular cycle of raising interest rates 3 and 2 more rates are coming, and then selling some of the $4 trillion Treasury rates are going to go up. You put those rates together, it's going to choke off the recovery. What are they talking about? The banks are going to have more delinquencies. That's right, because the people, as we keep raising these rates, the consumer, his wages aren't going up the same pace. The consumer is not making enough money to keep up with the rate increases. As their car payment goes up, their house payments, their credit card payments all go up, they're not making enough money to absorb that. And even worse than that, the 10-year Treasury yield is what is the benchmark for how much our government pays for their money on the 10-year Treasury. Whatever the 10-year Treasury yield is, that's what they pay for their money. Well, wait a minute. If the rates on the 10-year yield is going up and the yields are going up, and the interest is going up faster than they're growing the economy, that creates inflation, which creates the dollar, which makes the dollar go down, which means the low income and middle income people, their dollars in their wallet are worth less, and it costs them more to go purchase stuff. What are they talking about? The profit. So that means they're going to put out more money to buy the same groceries they did last week, more money to buy the same insurance policy, and the banks are going to make more profits. They said, but we're going to make more profits because their car payments are going to go up too. They're going to default, you idiots. They're going to default, but nobody cares. Nobody cares as long as the stock market keeps going up. So let's take today, AZO. This is why I want you to join my gang. AZO was doing nicely. AutoZone. All of a sudden, she turns green and she drops. She started to turn red back on June 14th, and she dropped from $613 down to $518 today, and that is about a 14% drop. You would have never got caught in that 14% drop. Another one, AAP. Okay, which is Advanced Auto Parts. That dropped another 21%. It was green, and then it gave us a warning. What else? Who else? Did your broker call you if you were in Advanced Auto Parts? They call you, tell you get out? No. But if you had my chart, like my gang members who were in AAP or Advanced Auto Parts, they got out. But better than that, they were able to short it. They were able to pick up that 21% drop. But the most important is they were able to get out when they bought the stock, had a good night's sleep, knowing they would be out before it dropped, because it shows up on the chart. Call now, join my gang, get your chart. We'll be right back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. To many, the stock market is shrouded in mystery. When do I buy? What is the stop loss? Should I invest on earnings? Is it time to sell? At Phil's Gang, we want to clear the investing fog for you. We want to make you an educated, confident investor and ultimately a profitable investor. For over 15 years, Phil Grandy and the Phil's Gang team have been dedicated to teaching, guiding, and answering your investment questions. And with our new Phil's Gang website and customer support messaging system, we are available when you need us to answer your questions. philsgang.com can be accessed from your home, office, or any location where internet is available. Plus, you never miss a beat because all material is archived. From beginner to seasoned investor, Phil Grandy has been helping thousands of people learn about the stock market and producing smart investing strategies. Whether you're preparing for retirement or looking to secure your financial future, learn, invest, and profit with Phil's Gang. That's philsgang.com. For more information, call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy of Phil's Gang. I got a great opportunity for those people who are disgusted with the market, who don't have time to learn. What you do is follow me in the exchange-traded fund that I'm invested in. Every day you go to my site and you can see exactly what I am doing with my investment, and you can mimic me. Nobody else dares do that. Join the gang, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Even the experienced traders and investors need to keep learning to stay ahead. philsgang.com provides educational information about Phil's Gang products and services in many different ways. Daily live webinars hosted by Phil Grandy and technical charting experts help you understand and keep up with today's lively markets. Short videos, investing programs, and up-to-the-minute market alerts help you get up to speed with the market using Phil's Gang MaxVest 1000 stock charting software. We teach you an investing foundation that you seek to take the first steps towards achieving your personal financial goals. Visit philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Again, that's philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264.
To be able to just get my son to St. Jude and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Even the experienced traders and investors need to keep learning to stay ahead. philsgang.com provides educational information about Phil's Gang products and services in many different ways. Daily live webinars hosted by Phil Grandy and technical charting experts help you understand and keep up with today's lively markets. Short videos, investing programs, and up-to-the-minute market alerts help you get up to speed with the market using Phil's Gang MaxVest 1000 stock charting software. We teach you an investing foundation that you seek to take the first steps towards achieving your personal financial goals. Visit philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Again, that's philsgang.com. philsgang.com. Or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back. This segment of the Phil's Gang Show is brought to you by the MV Stock Charts. For more information, go to philsgang.com.
Chewing on a piece of grass.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Okay. So here's what we know that's going on right now. The fake narrative is that the bank stocks are going to make more profits now because the yields or their interest rate are increasing due to the enthusiasm that is going on because of what Trump said he's going to do, and also because of what the central banks are doing. So there's a lot of enthusiasm. The economy's doing terrific. So they want everybody to get out of the, they got everybody out of the, rotated starting June 9th, out of the big tech stocks. They said, get your money out of the tech and start buying the bank stocks. Now, think of this. When we had when we got into JP Morgan, we got in earlier than they did, okay? In other words, when our chart showed us it started to turn green, remember, on June 6th. The crash of the big tech, the FANG stocks, didn't happen till the 9th. It was on that 9th is when they started to tell people, okay, rotate out of your FANG stocks, rotate out of Google, Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, and get into the bank stocks. That was on the 9th. But we got in because it turned green earlier than that on June 7th. Now we're at 93.67, And that means J.P. Morgan right now is up about 14%. And the important thing is not that it's up 14%, and I'm not suggesting every gang member got in exactly when it turned green. Not suggesting that at all. The chart tells you it's up to the gang member when they want to pull the trigger. Some do immediately, some wait 3-4 days. Everybody's different. But the key is it's not ever wrong. It's never wrong. It tells you when to get in, and it works. So, but the key is anybody in J.P. Morgan, whether up 14%, 7%, 5%, they can sleep because they know that they will get out in time. We'll have a signal for them to get out in time. And by the way, if you're working and you're full-time and you don't have time, then what you do is just follow my video at night on my 5 stocks and my exchange traded fund and do exactly what I tell you to do, okay, or what I'm doing, and you'll be just fine. It's an easy way for you to be invested, and you're just following me. There's nobody else does that for you. They wouldn't dare do that because they'd be embarrassed if they lost money. But I let my members follow me. If they select, they decide they want those 5 stocks. Now, the same thing happened. Think about it. J.P. Morgan dropped 12% before the chart said, okay, it's ready now to get in and start buying because the institutions came in and it went up 14%. And Wells Fargo dropped 15%, was failing, go down 15%. And we were able to spot before it went up, just as it was turning and went up 9%. All the big shots got in later. They got in much after the stocks ran, they're telling people to get in. We got in before because as it dropped, Wells Fargo dropping 15%, there was a clear indicator turning green, say buy. And same thing with Goldman Sachs. It dropped 17, was going down 17%, and then it called it to start getting in, start buying it, and went up 7%. These guys were all late, the experts. My chart wasn't. So it works. It guides you. All I ask is, look, so if you make money, and we always kept our prices low, $39.95, and the chart is $29.95, okay? But if we ask you, if you make money, please remember to send money to St. Jude. It's called the Partner in Hope program. We've been doing this for 18 years. It's just $19 a month. And you're part of a special community of monthly donors who are committed to saving these kids who have cancer. And that monthly gift ensures that the families never receive a bill from St. Jude or their treatment or travel, housing, food, nothing. And it's a terrific program. And we don't expect our gang members to give. It's up to you. You don't have to give a penny if you don't want. But it's only $19 a month. But the deal is, let me help you make the $19 a month that you can send to them. We've been doing this for 18 years. It's a great system, and it works. Okay, so let's move on. So Maxine Waters, like I told you, the two most important, the most important committees on the Hill, the Capitol Hill, are the banking committees because they're the ones who drive everything. They're the ones who drive it all. And they're the ones, if you remember, Dodd, he was on the Senate Banking Committee, and Barney Frank was on the House, and those two got more payoffs. Dodd got more payoffs in history as a senator than anyone in history. And the rich of the rich can go in and pay them to put in laws, to put in any kind of law that benefits them, not us, not you and me, but them. Because, again, and what is that? To always make sure the banks are doing better, always doing good, getting bigger. Because these same people, these elitists, they own those banks. And it's bank stocks that drive the market. And here's what gets me. You know who's on the Senate House Banking Committee? Is this nut, Maxine Waters. And she and her husband, you talk about crooks. Listen to this.
His motives and his actions are contemptible, and I will fight every day until he is impeached. Impeach 45. Impeach 45.
Now, she's on the most powerful committee on the Hill. Now listen to her.
And the fact that he is wrapping his arms around Putin while Putin is continuing to advance into Korea?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Did Putin go into Korea? She's nuts. But listen to this.
Donald Trump's behavior has a lot of people questioning his sanity.
Is it true that Republican colleagues of yours expressed concern about President Trump's mental health?
A few. Trump fits the classic definition of narcissistic personality.
Okay. But they don't say anything about Maxine Waters saying that Putin's invading Korea and her being on the most powerful committee that affects your life because it affects your interest rates. That just absolutely drives me nuts. And remember, Maxine Waters, she's responsible. She's the responsibility they have is incredible. Think about this. Her pledge, this nutcase, is to protect consumers and their investments, ensuring that investments in our nation is monitored and that ultimately you, Americans, benefit from it, and keeping our economy on sound footing, and to focus on helping working families and protecting our nation's economic security. That is what these banking committees, their responsibility is. How'd that work out for us? In 2008, the financial crash wiped out $4 trillion in home equity, another $7 trillion in stock wealth. 10 million families lost their home because they don't do that. The government, all it does is use a statistical trickery to manipulate the headline numbers. Example, they use adjustable earnings right now instead of net earnings to make their quarterly earnings look so much better than they are by 40%. Think of that. They got new accounting rules. So that's why the best way to invest in the market is never do you buy stocks listening to these fundamentals these guys give you on TV or in Barron's. If you want to make money, you use the chart because it tells you all you're doing is following the big institutional money. When they get in, you get in. And when they get out, you get out. But think about this. In the future, the reason nobody cares, right now we could have an announcement, okay, that no matter, we could have an announcement that unemployment shot up to 45%. The market would still go up because the rich of the rich are making sure, because they own Congress, that everything is geared towards pushing this market up. So think about when you invest in a stock, the market's always being pushed up, and you're not in the market. The only reason why you're not in the market, and you realize you missed a 256% rally, the only reason you're not in because you're scared not to get out in time, and that's fair. And that's why I designed the charting and my whole educational program, our whole schooling. It's all designed about when to exit. And the chart I designed tells you. And if you just want the chart, it's $29.95. If you want to join the gang, it's $39.95. But there's nothing better than the stock market when you know this thing is rigged to continually go up. You just got to know when to get out. Join my gang, 877-600-GANG. Join now.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.